Hey everybody. Um, so I've been in this hobby for, I don't know, decades. Um, and there's always been a debate about a certain type of product. Um, some people love it, some people hate it, and it's stuff like this. Um, this is Start Smart Complete. Um, it's There's other brands out there. There's Quick Start and Safe Start and Bio Start, and they usually have Start in the name, but it's bottled bacteria. And I, when I had my store, I would stock the stuff just because people would come in and ask for it. And I was never a believer in it. And it's bottled bacteria. This particular one says gold standard of live bacteria. And we're all familiar with the need for good, beneficial, nitrifying bacteria in our aquariums for biological filtration. And if you're not familiar with that, I've got a video back a while back that talks about cycling your tank, the nitrogen cycle, and you can check that out. I probably need to make a new one because it's getting some age on it, and I can do better videos now, but that's a side topic. But for all the decades that I've been doing fish keeping, I never suggested anyone get bottled bacteria. I never used the bottled bacteria. I never believed in it. I thought it was all just what was the phrase, bottled snake oil. Just they put something in the bottle and tell you it's bacteria in a bottle, and it'll make your tank perfect tomorrow or today. Look, this one actually, I think it says instantly cycles aquariums, clears water without chemicals, ideal for maintenance. And I've always thought that was, bad, not only bad advertising, but false advertising, or it couldn't be true that they can't put bacteria in a bottle because bacteria has to have air and water movement to survive. And this here doesn't have air going through it, doesn't have water movement. I mean, it may have a little water movement if, on the truck as it jostles around and stuff, but there's no air going through it. So, at best it could be anaerobic bacteria, but there's no food source in here, so what can keep it alive? Well, besides that, and I'm not going to get all scientific on this, besides that, the history of the stuff hadn't been that well. A lot of the history that I had seen and read was that it just didn't work. Well, so does it? Does it not? As I've done more research on it, I've become more open-minded on it. Decades ago, they were using bacterias that weren't bacterias from like our aquarium systems. They were using a type of nitrifying bacteria, but not the right kind of nitrifying bacteria. So you wouldn't have the best results out of it. And so that may have been part of where I got the bad taste for it in my mouth. And the other way that I just didn't like the stuff was where it says instantly cycles aquariums. And I know you can't use a bottle of bacteria to instantly cycle the aquariums. It says it instantly cycles it, and that's not exactly true either. Since then, they have discovered new types of bacteria, and the way that they bottle them is a lot of them either have to be refrigerated or they bottle them in a spore format, or phase of their cycle. So it's basically like the eggs of the bacteria. I know that's not exactly right, but the way to think of it like an egg of the bacteria. It's encapsulated in there and safe for transport. Doesn't really need to eat or anything until it gets introduced. But anyways, so now they're using a more correct type of bacteria. They bottle it in a spore format or a chilled format to keep it longer. Format's not the right word either, but you know what I mean. And they're still advertising instantly cycles. So when people just put this stuff in their aquarium and let it run for a month or 2 days or not even a day, they think that it's cycled, ready to go. And that's not really what happens. Sure, this is bacteria. You enter it into your aquarium and you have to feed it. So you have to introduce ammonia to your aquarium in some form, whether it's through fish food, straight ammonia, something to feed your bacteria, let your bacteria grow. So basically you're seeding your aquarium with bacteria, and then you got to feed it to encourage bacteria growth and the cycle. So instead of it taking a month to cycle a new aquarium, it might take a couple weeks. So it's not an instant cycle, but it would speed the thing up. So, cutting right to the chase, does bottled bacteria work? The manufacturers themselves say, well, it depends. It depends on your water chemistry and what you have set up and how you're feeding. Alright, so it's not a direct answer if it works or not. Can it work? Sure. Can it not work? Well, yeah. So, do I use it? No, I don't use it. Would I use it? No. No, I won't. I would never use bottled bacteria. Would never buy it. I have some on hand, and it has exactly the amount in it that I have, it has exactly the amount in it that it had in it when I received it. Why wouldn't I use it? First off, I have aquariums running, so I can take media or some sort of surface area out of those aquariums that already have the beneficial bacteria on them and seed my own aquariums with my own bacteria that I've grown. Number two, even if I didn't have aquariums running, I know that the bacteria is there. The beneficial nitrophaging bacteria is there on the surface area already. Maybe not in the quantities that it would be if I used bottled bacteria, but it's already there. So why would I pay for something that I already have just to get more of it when I know that I can grow it? I'm not in that not in that big of a hurry to get everything set up. And since even if I add this bottled bacteria to the aquarium, I'm gonna have to feed it some sort of ammonia source, like putting fish in it or fish food or something like that to build the bacteria base, to build the colony. So if I'm doing that anyways, doing a fish in cycle or a fishless cycle, it's the same thing. As far as if I added the bacteria or if I didn't, I just would have to watch my water chemistry and my ammonia levels, just like I would have to do it if I bought the stuff anyway. So I'm paying for something that I wouldn't have to do. I wouldn't have to pay for, because it's there already. Would I suggest it to someone else? No. Many times I've had people ask, what do I need to get? And they ask, do I need to get the beneficial bacteria, the bottled bacteria? And I tell them no. To me, it's not worth the money, because I'm patient and I start my own that way. But for you, if you're impatient and you want to hurry up and do it, go right ahead. Everybody's their own person, they do what they want. But if you're an impatient person, you want to buy a fish today because it says it instantly cycles, I'll help you learn, and I will explain to you what's happened when you get your bacteria blooms and stuff. I've been there. Helped people out because they got the bottled bacteria put in their aquariums, and a couple days later they had a large bacteria bloom, ammonia spikes, and worried about their fish, lost fish due to ammonia spikes. But they use the instant cycle stuff. But that's just me. Everybody's different. You may have the best results out of it. You may highly endorse bottled bacteria. But just me, from my experience, from my knowledge of the product, and from being able to do cycles without it, I don't know why. I mean, I personally won't pay for something that I can do without paying for it. Won't ever use it because there's, in my little opinion, there's no need for it. It's already there. So what's your thoughts on this bottled beneficial bacteria? There's a whole lot more scientific stuff, types of bacterias and the life cycles of bacterias and all this stuff, but I didn't want to go into that. Just real basic. And then what's your all's thoughts? Leave them in the comments. Leave me a thumbs up or thumbs down depending on what you thought about the video, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. The notification bell will tell you when I've uploaded more stuff, and we'll see you next time.